comes Rich Lucero out of the Houston area as Mel Rio steps up to be an assistant athletic director.
The interesting part of that coaching change is that along with it comes a change in system. I'm still going to have to get used to watching PSJ throw the football because, as you know, for many, many years the Bears did not throw the football, only occasionally. So, hey, man, I'll tell you what, we're going to find out whether his system will work, and I know they're excited about it. So, but again, traditionally speaking, PSJ has now thrown 20 times. That used to be mid-season when they get about 20 passes in the air, but such is life, right?
La Jolla welcomes 2 new coaches at La Jolla High and at La Jolla Juarez Lincoln.
Yeah, and I think that the sooner or later, after that split into 3, La Jolla is going to start to win again because there's a lot of good kids. There's a lot of pride over there in football.
Right.
It may not be this year. It may be this year, but sooner or later, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
We cannot go without mentioning all the change in Brownsville, the turnover from the athletic director down to the coaches. Tom Chavez, who used to be at Brownsville Hanna, is now at Brownsville Rivera.
He used to be the AD.
He used to be the AD. A familiar face along the Brownsville Pace sidelines in Rene Medrano. He is now with the Brownsville Hanna Eagles, the 2 rivals there. And then, of course, you throw in the mix a brand new school with Veterans Memorial.
Brownsville Veterans is pretty good, by the way. Coach Guest changed that program. And if you're to think about it, you have 11 starters coming back in offense and 11 on defense. Right, and he left to
That's
become
all
the
you
AD.
can have.
Yeah, well, that's true.
22, right?
And he left to become the AD, and now David Cantu steps in. Right, and what you have in Brownsville basically is you have a merry-go-round of coaching, and it's not fair to me. I personally think it's not fair for the athletes there in Brownsville.
And that's the most important part. Those are the guys that we're here trying to showcase and represent. Now, of course, one new face that 956sports.com viewers are going to be familiar with is Scott Ford, formerly of Los Fresnos, left to Nacogdoches, but comes back to be the head Pirate in Hidalgo. Now, with Scott Ford, he's given us all access to his Pirate preseason and a couple of games, and you can watch our series on 956sports.com and get an in-depth look at what Coach Ford is doing to turn the Hidalgo Pirate program around. Robin Kirk has left. He's moved on, and Coach Ford is not only changing the system, but he's changing the mentality and the support of the Pirate program.
Well, you know, when you get a new coach, you always get a certain amount of bump and buzz, all right, because it's new. Sometimes it depends on the situation. If a coach comes in, let's say Ron Adami at Sharyland, okay, he's been there 17 years, he's run their spring practice for 7 years, there's not going to be a lot of hitching to get along.
A lot of change from Fred Sanchez to Ron Adami.
He takes over Fred, and plus he inherited a pretty good ball club that he's helped build, so not a lot of change there. But some schools get entirely new guys from outside the area. Harlingen South is an interesting case because they got some players. This might be the year that South returns from the depths and rises like the Phoenix. They got a new coach, Lanny Wilson. Things might be in place for them to really be good, but how well will they adjust to having a new guy? You know, so you never know. Depending on the situation, a new coach can be a neat thing, but it can also be, as you say, really traumatic for the kids. It just depends, right?
Yeah, I mean, continually, having the kids in the same program helps the kids, right? But when you come in and you change it, it's kind of difficult. When I went to La Villa, we changed it from a slot T offense to the spread offense, and the kids adapted to it well. Can the kids in Harlingen South do that?
Yeah.
They have the athletes.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, and 2 of the coaches that we haven't even touched on are the brand new La Villa coach, Danny Perez, and Michael Salinas, brand new to Edinburgh Vela Sabercats. We'll get into the brand new Edinburgh Vela Sabercats and the rest of district realignment coming up next on the Huddle preseason show, brought to you by McDonald's, 956sports.com on Fox 2.
You know, I've been doing this 40 years. It's about people. It's not just about numbers, it's about people. When my boys came in the business, one thing I told them was, if we don't earn the business, we don't deserve the business. You need to go out and earn the business. Do the best you can. Do everything with integrity. Do it the right way. And I know the only way to be successful is to please our customers. And you thought the good old days were gone forever? We're still here. Mott's Cash and Carry Building Materials. This is different. This is really different.
Have you noticed that some of the things that bother us the most in life are the things we almost never talk about? That's why it's surprising to hear that over 25% of the people here in the Valley suffer from the embarrassing discomfort of inflamed hemorrhoid pain. The physicians at the Texas Gastroenterology Institute in McAllen have perfected a fast, safe, pain-free cure. No need to suffer in silence any longer. Call the Texas Gastroenterology Institute today.
The deals are heating up on Built Ford tough trucks right now at Spikes Ford during the Ford Summer Sell-a-thon. Save $10,248 off MSRP on a new 2012 Ford F-150 Super Crew XLT, only $23,997. Save $7,408 off MSRP on a 2012 Ford Escape XLT, only $19,877. A new 2012 Ford Fusion, only $15,557, or a new Ford Focus, only $13,977. The deals are hot on rides that are built Ford tough at Spikes Ford, Expressway 83 in Mission.
Looking for a bit of indulgence? Look no further than the new chocolate chip frappe from McCafe. Every bit as delicious as the McCafe frappes you love, only this one has a bit more wow. Bits of chocolate chips in every sip. Blended into mocha and caramel, all topped with a double drizzle of chocolate and sweet caramel. You've never had a frappe like this. Better get your hands on one quick, because it's only here for a little bit. The simple joy of the perfect sip.
The sun shines bright as it moves across my face. I feel the light and everything is in its place. Oh, I woke up feeling great. Today was made for me. And life is good the way it should, the way it was meant to be. And it's a beautiful day.
Welcome back to the Huddle preseason show on Fox 2, brought to you by 956sports.com and, of course, powered by our friends at McDonald's. Now, guys, we've talked about realignment. We've talked about the districts. And, again, we want to encourage everybody to visit 956sports.com, find out what district you're in. But we've seen the changes. And one of the big districts, 31-5A, you've got the PSJs, you've got the Edinburgh schools, the McAllen schools, I'm sorry. And then, of course, we welcome
Weslaco and San Benito. Other than that, it's not going to be a very good district. When I saw that realignment, I thought you could be a really good football team and you could go 3-7. I mean, because every team in that district has been good in the past. In fact, I did a little research. The past 8 years, 31 5A teams have won 55% of their games. The other two 5A districts are right about 45-46% aggregate. So what we're looking at is, any number of teams that could be really good. That's not to say the other two 5A districts won't end up being great, but if history is any guide, that is a murderer's row, man.
32-5A, it encompasses the Brownsville schools. You mix in Los Fresnos and Harlingen South. Coach, tell me about that district.
Well, the best team in that district has to be Harlingen. And being in a weak district, it's going to hurt them. It's going to make them weaker come playoff time.
They won't have those challenges that they've got to
They won't have those challenges. And Coach Gomez is not the coach that's going to run up the score on somebody, right? But what are you going to do? Pull out your starters in the first quarter, second quarter? They need to play. They need to get ready for the playoffs. And that's what district is for, to get ready for the playoffs. And it's not going to happen.
Interestingly enough, they've got a couple of big-time games at the beginning. They do have San Antonio Johnson, who was 8-5. Then they've got San Benito, the Battle of the Royals. So they're going to get some of their experience front-loaded, which you would rather have games that are a little bit more difficult toward the end of the season, right? 7 or 8, week 8 or 9.
You're going to start off high and then finish low in district, and that's not going to help you for the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt you.
It'll affect your momentum going into the playoffs.
It will. I mean, you still have Los Fresnos in there, right? You still have Harlingen South. And then after that, what's going to happen?
It remains to be seen which of those Brownsville schools is going to be the most competitive. Some people are saying Hannah. Some people are saying veterans. We were talking earlier. The veterans has a lot of returning talent. They could be good.
Yeah, they got 11 guys coming back on offense and 11 back on defense. And they took a lot of athletes from Brownsville Pace. That's why Milano left, basically.
Well, we've seen a lot in the playoffs where the 31 5A teams will struggle against those 32 5A teams. No matter how downtrodden the district is, they tend to give the 31 5A teams and the 35 5A teams a lot of headaches in the playoffs.
I don't want to say they're taking them for granted or looking ahead, right? But I think that's what's happening. I mean, I think the 31 5A thinks like, oh, 32 5A is not going to be that tough, and they're looking ahead into the next playoff game.
And the truth is, guys, as we're kind of intimating here, we don't really know whether or not that district will be down or up or not. History is a guide. You imagine that Harlingen, Los Fresnos, and possibly South will be at the top of the district, but you never really know. Same thing over in 35A. You know, we can say Sharyland is a prohibitive favorite, and I think a lot of people are saying that. The magazines have said that. They've got a great freshman, sophomore group coming. But the Edinburgh and La Jolla schools, plus the Redskins of Down, they're going to have a lot to say about that too.
How much leeway do you give Robert Vela out of Edinburgh, the new school, with a first-year coach in Michael Salinas? Coach, you've been there. What was your first year like?
You know, your first year is always tough. You know, you're exposed to so much paperwork. You got so many things that you have to take care of. You know, you got to take care of the chain crew, the clock, the referees.
A lot more administrative stuff.
A lot
than
of
you're
more,
used to, right? Yeah.
And you're taken away from that coaching that first year. And once you get a hang of it, once you understand what needs to be done, you can prepare better, then you can get back into the coaching. But Michael Salinas is in for it right now.
Yeah, and especially being the debut year in a 5A team, you know, with some pretty good kids that he's managed to, as that fracturing of Edinburgh has come about, it seems as if a couple of the better kids have ended up at Robert Vela High School.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not going to criticize Edinburgh, right? But I think they should have done what PSJ did with Southwest, what Brownsville did with Veterans Memorial.
Bring us up 5A in.
Yeah, you know, work them up. Start them as a freshman, and then sophomores, and then juniors, and then seniors. You know, so you can work with them from the beginning, not all at once.
It's going to be interesting over there in town. La Jolla went through the same thing. Sooner or later, Sharyland, Donna, San Benito. It's all a demographic game.
Right.
You know, when your town gets to enough people in town, you're going to split and you're going to make more high schools. The amazing thing to me, and I've never been able to figure this out, please email Tony if you have the answer. How is it that McAllen has a population of 130,000 and has 3 high schools? Edinburgh has a population of 77,000 and has 4 high schools. Did they go a lot of other places? How does that happen? And I don't have the answer. It's not a conspiracy.
I'll give you the answer.
Mm-hmm.
McAllen can't spread out. Nation can spread out. Right,
So
Edinburgh can spread out.
Yeah.
Right, they're not landlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Right, PSJ still has a way to go south. Right,
Right.
You got, but McAllen can't grow which way? They can't grow.
And where are they going to build high school?
Yeah, and the population is getting bigger, but it's getting older, not younger.
Interesting. It is demographics.
It
We
is,
have
yes.
an urban planner here in Gene Garden. That's a good thing. But I've always been fascinated by that question.
Well, just a couple of questions. Again, we encourage you to visit our website at 956sports.com. You can watch the show in its entirety again. You can also give us your opinions in the forum. And if you want to tweet at us, at 95640. And of course, we'll take your comments via email as well. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, Sunday morning, 9:30, you have a set date where you've got to be a part of us with 956sports.com and Fox 2. Fox Rio 2 and 956sports.com serve up the Huddle every Sunday morning at 9:30, brought to you by McDonald's. Get your 30-minute recap of everything in the Valley High School football world Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Fox Rio 2. Join the coach, Gene Garza, our sports writer of the year, Greg Selber, and myself, Tony Fortina, for the 30-minute trip around the Rio Grande Valley High School football world Sunday mornings at 9:30, brought to you by McDonald's, 956sports.com, and Fox Rio 2.